in situations where there's a label. People will always think there's something in between the two of you.
Why do people think about things like that?
You and I know that it's just common human instincts. Between you and I, we know that nothing is happening. I can hug you. I can call you my G. I can just, openly. I need to have a problem. I'm calling you like my default friend. Let's go for a drink. Let's go watch football. Let's go bowling. I can always depend on you, and I know that you got my back. And it becomes difficult when you become vulnerable. When maybe you have a heartbreak or you're going through a lot, you become vulnerable to that person. They can take advantage of you. Let's be open to this. If my partner says he doesn't want it, it's going to affect both of us. But you want to save your marriage, you want to save your relationship than a platonic relationship. There should be a balance. Strike a balance to it.
Welcome to another edition of Kanayo's Corner. This night, we are going to be talking about male and female friendship. And I've got a very interesting guest on the show tonight. Her name is Alexis. I've known Alexis I think I've known you for close to 20 years, right?
More than 20 years.
Thereabout. Right.
More than 20 years, yeah.
Yeah. So, Alexis, I reached out to you. I invited you to join this show, and you were the one who picked this topic. It wasn't me. It was your idea. But anyway, you want to talk about male and female friendship, right? Is there any particular reason why you wanted to talk about this?
No reason in particular, because when you asked me, I thought we're going to talk about football, but we're like something different. And it just came naturally as a people's girl and a guy's girl. I just thought this will work. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yes, obviously you are a football fan, you're a Man United supporter, but today we're not going to be talking about football for once. All right, so when you talk about male and female friendship with no strings attached, what does that actually look like to you?
To me, it looks like normal friendship. Having grown with boys around me, so it's easier to say I relate more with guys than females. Doesn't mean I'm both ways, but there's an understanding with guys. It's easy flowing and, of course, no strings attached. And I've had beautiful relationship with female-male relationships. So for me, it's easy to go with guys. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you genuinely believe that men and women can be just friends with zero with zero romantic undertones?
Yes and no. I've had both experiences.
Okay.
I've had both, just being honest, because we're humans and emotions can just crop in. But for the best of my knowledge, it's building boundaries.
Okay.
Building boundaries, it's just the language I use, and being a good communicator, knowing when to say yes and no, the intention about the relationship. So for me, platonic relationship without sexual or romantic feelings has worked for me, and I can count more than 5, 10 guys that this is my guy, for good reasons, for the value they bring, for the kind of discussions we have. And being a football fan, it's easy for me, yes, to say, well, I talk with guys because there are more guys that watch football than females. We can't even we can't rationalize it like that. So for me, I've had beautiful relationship with guys, platonic, football, and the values they bring. Sometimes it's easy to just deal with a man than deal with females sometimes. So
okay, you said that, not me.
That's just the boundaries for me, yes.
Okay, so what do you think makes those platonic relationships work then? Like, what do you think is the reason?
I'll say, again, boundaries, respect, knowing when to call the shots back. Yes, I know feelings again will grow, but respect, the intention of the relationship. You want to know people for who they are, what they bring to you, the values they bring to you. What are you guys talking about? Sometimes it's networking, sometimes it's business. I know I have a friend that I can say, this is my guy. We can have a drink, but we'll talk about business. We'll talk about how to make more money. We'll talk about how to do things differently, not necessarily about sexual or romantic discussions. So we'll have guys that can even put you through. From colleagues, I've had friends that from work status will become very close friends
Okay,
because we
yeah.
know what we bring to the table. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, how does this play out then? I mean, if you are in a relationship and you've got friends or close friends or a close friend of the opposite sex, how does that play out in your relationship then? I mean, would your partner be entirely happy with that situation? Like talk me through that kind of situation.
I've been entangled in some situations. That's why I'm laughing. And it's you have to explain and be open about it. So it's easier if your partner, for me now, to know that this is my friend and this is what we're about. We can have drinks together, we can talk things through together. And when we talk about things, it's in the open. There's no secrecy, there's no funny feelings. I'm able to tell you you already know I'm a girl's guy. So I try to put that boundary to say, I'm in a relationship and this is people I talk to. I introduce my partner or my friends to my partner, vice versa. So there's always that unism, understanding that I know her, I know him. She's always talking about you. She's always talking about you. So those things,
Okay.
it's more comfortable for us to go on a relationship. And if
Okay.
he's in another relationship, he's in a relationship too. I think all partners should know each other to have the balance. Yes.
Okay. And are you entirely like comfortable with that? Okay, let me flip it this way, right? If you had a partner and then he had a close friend that was a lady, how would you like react to that?
I'm
Just be
acceptable
honest
to
about
it.
this.
Yeah, I'm very honest about it. But you have to understand the undertone again. Sometimes it's not always very transparent.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you can pick calls and you talk about everything everywhere without giving excuses or the body language to tell us if there's anything in between. I'm open for you to have female friends. Introduce me to them. How you introduce me to them matters too.
Okay.
Yes, and what you tell and what we discuss, outing and all that really matters. My girl, my wife, my partner, my this. So all that should be in the open, no secrecy. Body language again can give you out. Or what you discuss in present and offline matters too. So in between,
Okay.
you can't hide this for too long. For me, I know. I just know how to get through to this.
Okay. And do you think that, the men and women approach friendships differently?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm caught in between. I've got girls who are my friends. I've got guys who are my friends too. So the understanding is different. And as I said earlier, for a girl and a guy, if you're a social bee, it's
Mm-hmm.
different. You know how to manage expectations and when to cut the boundaries. So understanding and the kind of friends you keep to also gives the way you manage expectations because those expectations will come, those
Yeah.
underlinings will come at a point in time. So being able to identify emotional behaviors, the way you talk, communication too matters. There's some communications you can't talk about my or assumption of my body or sexually describing me. There's some communications or some things you don't talk about. It should be like, this is it. This is it. Yeah. The way
Okay.
you hug me too matters. Do you understand? On
Okay.
handshake, the dick it should be like Stanley. But for a guy who has different intentions, you will and you just read the body language.
So you
And
can
when
tell.
when I when I do, I cut off. I give a break. Yes. But I like to
Okay.
discuss things. No, this isn't it, we can't do this or when you're able to communicate, draw the boundaries, be intentional about it, it really helps you define a relationship. Define every
Okay.
relationship. Yes.
Okay, so do you think that men struggle to keep things, like platonic, or is this just like a stereotype? I mean, so I'm asking this because a lot of people would say that if a man is close to you as a guy friend, he always wants something, you know. So do you think that this is always the case, or do you think that some men could just have, like friendships that are just at that level with no, with no undertone attached?
It's yes for both gender. It's not a gender thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a personality thing, I would say. Yes. I've seen women that have turned things around for guys unknowingly. I know guys are the weaker, weaker gender, but then,
Excuse me, guys are the
yes,
weaker gender.
yes, when it comes to such emotions, so the attractions, they are being carried away easily.
Okay, I
But
don't know about
yeah,
this, but go ahead. Okay.
yes, I'm I'm speaking from experience again
Okay.
and hearsays. So most of your experience are not just about you; it's what you heard. I don't have the statistics, I don't have the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
but women are stronger in such situations. And again, defining your relationship helps to know when to cut the boundaries.
Okay, so you've talked about boundaries, boundaries, right? So what about, say, emotional boundaries then? I mean, so do you think that friendships at that level can, you know, like can be genuine if one individual, is emotionally attached to the other, but doesn't quite express it?
Difficult one, yes. Sometimes it starts platonically
Mm.
and it's one can start developing emotional, sexual, romantic feelings for another. And again, if you are able to communicate, it could be a mistake. Maybe you try to kiss the person. Maybe you go further. Like, okay, no, hold it there. And the other person knows this isn't what we are here for.
So that's not
It's
platonic anymore then.
it's normal platonic, yes. So at that point, you need to really talk about it or stop seeing each other. And in most cases, it's when you're usually in a confined area, like closed doors. Because if you're in open places, it will hardly happen. So your bond begins to get closer if you're always alone. So for me, that's like again, I talk about boundaries. So
Mm.
when I'm not able to control how you feel as a person, I shouldn't be in closed doors with you. Yes.
Okay. Well,
So
for
to
me, I mean,
avoid that, I'm already noticing, maybe for me, I'm already noticing your emotions are growing and all that. It's either I'm not in the same space with you alone or I stop seeing you and we can just be on the phone, we'll talk on the phone. And when you begin to talk about things which are not supposed to, I'm cutting you off.
okay, I mean that affects the friendship
Yeah,
ultimately.
it
I
does.
mean,
It would affect the friendship.
yeah, to be honest, right? I've had a similar experience like when I was much younger, like back in uni. So I had a very close friend, whilst I was um in medical school, and even years after we graduated. In fact, until I left Nigeria, she was a very close friend of mine. Now, I always saw her as my guy. I saw her as my brother. I'm not even my sister. I saw her as a brother. Okay, so and all through the years that we were very close, many people thought that there was something between us, but I never saw it that way. So yes, I know that such, yeah, friendships can exist, but I think that they can only exist when two people have no emotional attachment to the other. Once there's such emotional attachment from one person, it jeopardizes everything.
Everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree
but then
completely.
again,
And yeah.
yeah, but then again, I wasn't, I was single at that point. I mean, well, I was not married, so it wasn't an issue. Even when I was in relationships, it wasn't an issue. But I do think that if anyone is married, then it doesn't look right if your best mate is of the opposite sex whilst you're in a committed relationship or a marriage. I just feel like no matter what, because it just comes across as you are disrespecting your partner if your best mate is of the opposite sex. How do you respond to that?
It's a difficult one. Again, it's difficult. And we're in a society most times or in situations where there's a label.
Mm.
People will always think there's something in between the two of you.
Yeah, but why is that though? Like, so why do people think about things like that?
Tracy, you and I know that it's just common human instincts. But between
Yeah.
you and I, we know that nothing is happening. I can hug you, I can call you my G, I can just, openly. Nothing. I need to have I have a problem. I'm calling you like my default friend to call.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go for a drink. Let's go watch football. Let's go bowling. I can always depend on you, and I know that you got my back. And it becomes difficult when you become vulnerable, maybe
yeah,
emotionally. So when maybe like you have a heartbreak or you're going through a lot, you become vulnerable to that person, they can take advantage of you. So again, for
okay,
partners, let's be open to this. If my partner say he doesn't want it, it's going to affect both of us, yes. But you want to save your marriage, you want to save your relationship than a platonic relationship. So there should be a balance. Strike a balance to it. If your partner is saying no to it, I don't agree to this.
yeah,
That's
fair
fine.
enough. Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
fine. So it should be discussed.
yeah.
Then, if both of you are in a relationship and both of you become family friends,
Mm,
that would help.
okay.
Your husband, both men are friends, then the women can become friends.
Of
So
course. Yeah, that makes sense.
from
That way, yeah,
opposite to family and the kids are. So it could bring togetherness and a bigger friendship. But if not, trust me, I would say we're good. Let's save our homes. Let's save our marriages. Let's save our relationship. And that's the best way to go about it.
yeah.
If
So
at the end
really,
of the day,
yeah, the
things change,
boundaries.
boundaries, intentionality. So they are two different things. Platonic, and when it becomes sexually or romantically defined, it's time to say goodbye unless you want both of you agree to it. So if one person
Yeah.
is and one person is not, it's no longer platonic, it's no longer to be a healthy relationship.
Yeah, that's true. So, have you ever been in a relationship that was misread, that was misunderstood? Say you
Yes.
were close to this. Okay, okay. So, are you happy to talk about that on camera, or you would rather not?
Talk about it in camera and it affected my relationship with the guy.
Okay,
Yes. And just like I've known you for over 20 something years, and this is somebody I grew up on the same street in
really?
Jos. Yes. And I can hug you, I can call you, I can say, this is what, please, I need his help. So you're like my default call, and I'm in a relationship, and this is not going well with you. He's married, we're in a relationship, but I can always say, I need this. So it affected us. There was no trust. And when you begin to have that trust, it began to build into so many different things. And the relationship didn't last long.
So let me get this
So
straight. So, who was catching feelings, him or you?
no, we're not catching feelings, but the guy I was dating at the point
Okay.
thought there was more to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
Even
Yeah,
after explaining,
I
no,
see. I see.
this is my childhood friend. They're like, we grew up on the same
Okay.
streets. But
I see what you're saying now. So,
yeah,
does it come from a place of insecurity from your, yeah, from partner who was like sort of jealous?
yes, it did. So
Okay.
we've had different scenarios where driving alone, walking alone. So it's led to so many things that I thought, okay,
Yeah. Okay. So, I think
it's not one
society.
of, but this was like
Yeah.
a pivot at the point in time, which led to so many things. And
Okay, I see. So I think society has a part to play in this because there's always
it does.
so so there'll always be this label that if you have a close friend who is of the opposite sex, there has to be something like going on. And I find that funny. Of course, it's important to respect the other like person, but I just find that funny. Like for example, like, you and I have known each other for so many years. I mean, for close to 2 decades. We've gone to Old Trafford to watch football games on more than
Of
one occasion.
times, yes.
So if anybody's thinking that, this relationship
Yes.
is somewhat, I find that, I don't know, it just comes across to me as what society just does. There has to
Yeah.
be something between these two people. It doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to. Doesn't have to. And I would say I have more male guys friends compared to
That's
female.
okay. Is it because you grew up with, okay, so you got so many brothers, haven't you?
Yes, I grew after my brothers, three brothers.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
immediately three brothers. I didn't know my sisters growing up. So
yeah.
I think it had an effect on me. So especially my immediate elder brother, the same primary school. So he went to all boys school, I went to all girls school.
Yeah, that was
But
the school
his
that I was in. Yeah,
friends, exactly.
yeah, of course.
That's how I got to know you guys.
Yeah,
And all
yeah.
his friends were my friends, are still
By
my
default.
friends by
Yeah.
default. So going to university again at that age, I didn't have a relationship in school because my brother's friends were my friends. And everybody saying hello to me were close to my brother. So it was like a
Yeah.
no-no. So I just had friends like, okay, I mean, my brother sees me with so many guys like, this is it, this is it. He's safe. He knows that I
Yeah, that's
respect him. Yes. And up until tomorrow, I can call his friends and say, hi guys, what's up, and all that. So I've grown with that. Being in a group of football players, lovers. I'm in
mhm.
Manchester United, 4 groups, and I'm like one of 1 to 10 of many guys.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I can tell you for free. My colleagues, I can count on and on and on. So it's easier for me. I've been like that.
Yeah.
So
So I think for you, just as you're saying, right, you grew up with your 3 elder brothers and all of that. So do you think that it's because you grew up in that sort of scenario that you are like, like kind of cool with guys as compared to, say, there was a lady who grew up with just sisters or didn't have that like that brotherly connection. So do you think that such people will find it difficult to have close friends of the opposite sex?
I think they won't be able to manage it properly.
Okay.
Yes. So mine, I think it's an advantage for me that I'm able to manage my male friends properly and have boundaries, knowing that I just know how to manage it. And I know
Yeah.
when to call it out. I know how to communicate and the body language. I understand that very clearly. Like if
Yeah.
we're talking about this is what it is about, not sexual or romantic feelings. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's zoom out a little bit, right? So do you think that such friendships, male and female friendships, like actually add value, or do they just make things complicated over time?
For me, I've gained more. I've gained more because
Okay.
for female relationship, there are higher competition, bad energy, women not
Well,
lifting women.
that's not me saying this. That's you saying that. Fine. Go
This
ahead.
this is me saying it from a woman's perspective
Yeah.
and having both friendship. Yes, it's easier for a man to lift you up on the opposite sex than a woman. For me,
Okay.
so women seeing a strong voice, I think it doesn't go well. So the
Okay.
competition is very unhealthy. But a man will tell you, no, let me help you do this. Let me help you fix your CV. I can talk to you how to go through an interview, or let's go watch match together. I know you like to watch match. It's easy. I'll pay for you. Don't worry. Let's do this. Let's have a drink. So I've got, maybe because I grew up with my brothers too, like I can sip some alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's easier to talk over drinks or
Yeah.
food or things like that. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it's healthy for for people to have friends of the opposite sex, right?
I would say yes if you know how to manage it
If not, okay, yeah.
properly.
So okay,
So
that's always
define the
the key.
friendship,
Okay.
build your boundaries, the intention, the context. Yes, understand the communications, the body languages,
Okay.
and be
I
a
mean,
good
okay.
communicator. Yes, be
Yeah.
able to say yes and no so you don't get into trouble, not being able to save yourself. That's what I'll
Okay.
say.
So what's the one thing that that people get completely wrong about male and female friendships?
One thing from both of them or from outsiders or like, I don't know.
Yeah, from
Give me the
outside.
phrase. So they always label you like
Yeah,
maybe there's
that's the
something.
assumption.
It's
Yeah.
that's the first thing I know I've noticed.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the place to start explaining myself. I'm sorry. I'm that blunt. Approach me, I won't even explain like, oh, this is it. I can call you, come and join us for a drink, you know, and all that. But I'm not going to start explaining or defending, no, because I know me.
Okay. So Alexis, in your honest opinion, I think we can start to wrap this up very soon. But in your honest opinion, like, do you think that men and women can truly be just friends?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, yes, you can be truly friends, define it, know
Yeah.
what it is about. And when you start catching feelings, when it starts changing, take a long walk and talk about it. Sometimes the emotions can just sweep you off your feet. It may not be planned. And sometimes we don't even know people's intention. It could start on a platonic level and things begin to change and might take advantage of you because of you've been vulnerable or being very truthful and open. So there are two different kinds of affection, I'll say, or emotion, I'll say. Respect, care. You can be affectionate to say, yes, I got you, loyal, respect, not the other side, which is sexual or romantic. So when you're able to define what the relationship is about, the context, the intention, it's easier to manage. And when it begins to change, it's okay to go separate ways.
Yeah, I mean, you've answered that, like very well. I was going to ask you if you have any advice for anyone who is, like navigating such a situation, but I think you've answered that in your
Yes.
last statement already. All
Yes.
right, Alexis.
Define the relationship. If it's not
Yeah,
what it's meant to be, only if both of you in agreement, it starts platonically and it
mm,
moves in agreement, not forcefully, not taking advantage of the other person. If you're not able to do that, just to be and face your
okay.
gender.
So last question now, right? So imagine, and I'll make it like quite personal. Imagine you had a close friend, of the opposite sex, right? And you guys were just friends, but then you started to, yeah, so like have feelings for this chap. How would you navigate that if this is from your point of view now? Because you've
Oh,
talked about boundaries,
yeah.
your communication and all of that. So, so would you be the one to initiate that conversation if you're the one having feelings for him and not the other way around?
I've had this particular scenario before, and
Okay, you
I
started
thought,
off for
yes,
the scenario.
you put me on the spot. I have, and I had to ask questions like, he ticked all my checklists.
Okay.
Yes. And he said no, he was just being a friend. And genuinely, I stopped seeing him for almost like 3 months. We were like, we can still be friends. And I'll tell you, over time, we're like best of friends. That's the
Okay.
truth. We're like best of friends. I now took that feeling. I
Yeah,
threw it
that's
into the
real.
trash. Yes, it
Yeah,
became
yeah.
yes. Okay, this is not what it is. Even
Yeah.
though
So
I
I
thought
think,
it was done that way around. But when we talked about it, I took a break. But today, well, he's like my second default call. Yes.
okay, yeah, so I think that comes with a level of maturity because you
Yes.
didn't like jeopardize that
No,
relationship, that friendship because of the little thing that you felt. I think that
and
takes,
I've gained more. I'll tell you,
yeah,
I've gained more in the past years than if he had gone the other way around. Yeah.
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 Because I think the easiest like way to handle this is just to cut off completely. But I think that's an immature way of handling it. I think you handled it quite
Yes.
well.
Yes. We talked about it and I took a break. Then he was reaching out. How are you doing and all that? And I just thought about it. Okay, maybe he's really genuine, not
Yeah,
what I was thinking. I was the one catching feelings.
you
But
better catch flights, don't catch feelings.
I had to trash that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, get your
All
head
right.
straight and yeah.
Alexis, it's been an absolute pleasure having a chat with you. I think we're going to end it now. But before I
Thank
end it
you.
now, do you have any final words, any final thoughts you want to?
My final thought is there are still genuine people out there with
Yeah,
good emotions, not romantic emotions, not sexual, that can be your friends, no matter the gender. So personality differs from the gender, male or female, opposite or not. So there are still good people, whether female or male. It's just defining what it is. And you don't know where
yeah,
your mentor, your mentee, your coach could come from. And
you come
that's
from.
what it's about. Life. Yeah, generally. Yes.
Thank you, Alexis. You see, I always say that life is like a game of football and we all play to win. Navigating all of this is like part of the rules of the game. Thank
Yeah.
you, Alexis. Until
Thank
the next
you.
episode, everyone, take care of yourself
Bye,
and each other.
Jess. Thank you.